Tell you, this is the first time it has ever happened. That's to let you know we really mean when we say you guys get it. I mean, we poured our heart in that book, and we weren't sure how it was going to be taken because, you know, a lot of people always say, you know, you were a good one and this and that, and my buddies were brave enough to talk about a lot of that stuff they went through. Like, who wants to admit they went to juvenile detention when when they just graduated medical school? Who wants to do that? Who wants to potentially scare their patients who might be there? So we toiled over a lot of that stuff that we talked about. You know, and a lot of our books we just went ahead and just gave it up. And in the hope that it touches people. And just to see the teacher come up and talk about being inspired to do her part, and that's kind of what we talk about because it's so important for the whole community to come together and as well as for these young people to see that because it gives them hope to know that a lot of them haven't even met the person that's going to probably be the most influential person to push them forward. They haven't even met them yet. There's people that because we went from point A, we wanted to get from point A to point B, which was our goal, and we didn't know how we were going to get there. We just started walking. And that's the hardest thing to get these young people to do is just take that first step.
That's right.
It's a blind step.
That's right.
It's almost an unstable step. You don't know if the ground will just fall out from under you when you take that step. As you're stepping, the tunnel's dark. And you don't know if the ground's stable. Who wants to take that step? But we've got to get them to do it and help them understand. We've got to, for one, illuminate the path a little bit so that they can be courageous enough to see what's ahead. But we also got to encourage them to have faith and hope because oftentimes when we took those steps from point A to point B, there were people right after that first step that would have never seen us. If we stayed on point A, they would have never seen us. But because we took that one step, we found hundreds of people that were just waiting for us to take that step, to drag us to the You have to know that. There's people out there that are dying to see you become successful, but you have to present yourself. You have to try, like freedom. That's the first step. You present yourself to the world as someone who wants to show the potential that they have and wants to explore the potential that you have. And it starts there. And then you'll meet so many people that are going to, you know, I've met people, I mean, believe me, it's almost like it was just because I went for it, it was like a reward waiting for me. Just because I went for it. And that's what we want you guys to do. You're not going to know as you're taking those steps, those rewards, oftentimes you might not even be convinced that they're there, but just take those steps. I mean, the reward is waiting for you there. There's people there. You're not in it alone. You're going to meet tons of people by showing your talents and showing your desire. You know, there's a lot of folks out there that want to help you, so don't just think you're in it alone and just try to do it all by yourself. There's a lot of folks that really, from your parents to your teachers, there's a lot of people that want to see you succeed. So you have to, again, go ahead and present yourself. But I'm going to start all the way over down because you guys, you really had me. It's been building up all day. I mean, slowly but surely seeing a lot of what you guys are doing and how you guys are embracing our books. It really makes us feel like we know what we're doing. It really feels like we're on to something and we're on the right track, so we're going to continue to do that. But my name is Dr. George Jenkins. How did I get interested in becoming a dentist? And these guys were interested in medicine, but it was kind of easy for me. I had them. You might have thought I was a vampire. What's that movie? Twilight. You might have thought I was one of the colors because I had the worst teeth that you could ever imagine. My mother looked at my mouth and was like, "I can't send you into your future looking like that." So let me try to look up some affordable work. Healthcare and medical dental care for you. So I went to New Jersey Dental School, and oftentimes in the schools you can get discounted work because you're almost like their guinea pigs as they're studying to get their license. They can kind of work on you and you can get a discount. So I got my braces on that discount. But I also got a dream from that discount. The guy, the resident who was working with me would quiz me on a lot of the things that he was doing, and I was interested and engaged. So before you knew it, I was walking around saying I wanted to be a dentist because of those experiences. But I was lucky to even be able to recognize that as a viable option. I mean, 13 years old and you get exposed to a dentist. A lot of 13-year-olds where I'm from wouldn't have recognized that sort of that spark, because a lot of folks in my neighborhood weren't given a lot of the groundwork in terms of being able to dream and to believe in themselves and to understand that the world had a lot more to offer them than just the confines of their block that they live in. A lot of young people think that because they're not really exposed to the world, so their dreams are kind of caged in, and they kind of can pick what they see in their neighborhood as the things that they might want to aspire to. But there's so much else out there in the world that might cater to their personality and their talents a lot better, but they never get exposed to it. So it's kind of hard to dream and to grab onto those things and believe that if you're not exposed. And I was at an early age. Ms. Johnson exposed me to a lot of the things that she was doing, a lot of the arts. She had me reading Shakespeare. She had us doing algebra for kids. She had me in ballet class for 2 weeks. When those types came, a lot of the boys quit. So that didn't last, but I understood what she was doing. I mean, she really was exposing us to the world, breaking those barriers down, helping us understand that we can do whatever it is that we want to do. We just have to use education. And education was the surest way to change our quality of life. You know, a lot of young people, you know, they really need to be schooled in terms of the odds are concerned when it comes to a lot of these professions that they're aspiring to. Most of them are interested in sports and entertainment at an overwhelming rate. And that's all that they're interested in. And they're not really asking what they want to become. 90% of the boys in the room say something along the lines of a rapper or a basketball or baseball player, and not very much as far as education. And we want them to understand, and we want you guys to understand that education is the surest way to improve your quality of life. You hit those books, you go to class, you go to tutoring, you have the smartest person in the class, whatever you have to do. Just continue to fight and understand that all of you guys are smart. Each and every one of you are smart in your own way. It might not manifest itself in the same way that the person who's getting patted on the shoulder at this point in this particular class, but there were plenty of classes where the person who I thought was really killing it, was doing well, and I might have been getting a C, B, but I kept fighting in the next class. I'm the one with the A, because this class particularly fit my personality and the things that click with me a lot better. So don't think that you're not smart because you might be having challenges with one particular class, or a bunch of them at this point. It's just a baseline. It's just where you are right now. You just have to be willing to get better as you go. And as I was talking to the young people in the school earlier, I was letting them know, to drive that point home, I was a better student in college than I was in high school because I kept learning. I kept paying attention. I got better at taking notes. I got better at listening to the professor. I got better at trying to pick out what was important out of all that material. And I became a better dental student than I was in college because, again, I kept going and I kept getting better. So you're going to be a better high school student than you were in the 8th and 9th grade if you just keep going and keep fighting. And whatever you feel like you're not good at, let that send you a message that that's what I got to work the hardest in to try to get better. But don't let it send you a message that you're not smart or you're not a math person because you failed that first math test. No, that means math kind of identified itself as something that you need to put a little more time in. But don't give up before you give yourself a chance to get better. And we want you also to surround yourself with positive people. That's what was kind of critical for us because we saw a lot of what was going on in our neighborhoods with the negative peer pressure. You know, I've had friends that I grew up with actually in jail for manslaughter. And I know this guy. You know, he's out now and somehow he beat the case. Don't ask me how, but he's out. And but he he's a good guy, still is a good guy. You know what I mean? Like, you hang around